Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I actually admire that you can actually be this fake. And like when the TV comes on, how you can just change.
Thank you.
You're the scum of the earth.
The old optimist, I couldn't do it. The old said I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Lebanon. Pound for pound. Headshot dead. That's it.
There's guys out there that are doing this day in and day out. They live and breathe this stuff that they don't get the recognition or credit that they deserve.
Is the secret to fighting?
Not being a fucking pussy. Honestly, you can teach anybody how to fight. But like, if you're a fucking pussy, that's a really hard thing to teach someone not to be.
It's the type of different that you need to have to dethrone the king, Alexander Volkanovski. So my prediction, what we're going to see Saturday night, is the same thing I've been saying for months. I'm going to stick by my guns. Topuria by knockout. Yo, yo, yo. We're back.
What is up,
Episode 55, part deuce. We're back now. Anybody that listened to the UFC Vegas 86 recap, episode 55, part 1, this is going to be the part 2 of this episode where we're going to preview UFC 298, Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. And I'll say it again, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, drop a like on the video, leave a comment. Tell Nick that you can fucking beat his ass and tell him how you're going to do it. Tell Dirty that he's fat and smelly, and leave any comment you want. Like the video, share it with your mom, your step-aunts, your girlfriends, your ex-girlfriends. The girl you slept with and lost your virginity to when you were 16. Send her a message. She's probably thinking of you. She's probably thinking about you. Make sure you send it to her.
If you're thinking about me, you owe me money for all those fucking cookies on lunch. You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. Let's get into it. So UFC 298 is this upcoming Saturday. Right before I hit record, we were just kind of going over some of the fights. This card is stacked. You said it was slept on.
Yes, man.
So outside of the main card or main event, excuse me. So outside of Volkanovski Topuria, what fight on this card are you most looking forward to?
Dude, I mean, there's two. Listen, I love the Taffa brothers. I love how they bang. I love how they fucking are just some big Mark Hunt type fighters that come out there. They can throw kicks. You see big heavyweights that are flexible like them. You got to watch them, man.
Absolutely.
It's fucking awesome. And then a women's fight, dude. We're bringing women MMA back, motherfucker. Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fucking entertaining. I mean, we will see a finish, I think.
I think so as well. Yeah, and that is the featured prelim of the night as well, I believe. So that'll be the last fight on the prelims before we get into the main card.
However, we covered this guy last time. I don't know, maybe it's weird, maybe it's because I think he looks like somebody off of Tekken. I don't know. But Rinya Nakamaru is undefeated. And I was like, dude, I like this guy's style of fighting. He looks fucking sick.
Yep.
And we covered him a few months ago, and he's back already, dude. He's undefeated. I mean, the more we cover this guy, the better. I think he has the potential to fucking get another dub and still be like, I mean, dude, he's in the Bantam division.
Yep.
It's gonna be something sick, dude. I love him, dude. He reminds me of fucking like Ken from fucking Tekken.
Yeah, he's a lot younger too. I think he's the eight years younger than Carlos Vera, who he's fighting.
Really?
But yeah, he's undefeated. Carlos Vera is 11-3, but 8 years his senior. Most of the time we see, the younger guy kind of edge out in some of those, and then but sometimes you don't. Experience speaks volumes, but it does. Like Carlos Vera isn't super experienced fighter for 36. I mean, he only has 14 professional MMA fights. So I don't think that's really going to be a factor. I think this is a stepping stone for Rinya Nakamura to come in and take number 9-0. I think it's ready.
I think it's ready, man, and I would love. I mean, I would just love to see a rise of a fighter like that, man.
Yep.
You have all these guys. I mean, we lost the Korean Zombie guys, and I'm not just saying it's because off race or whatever, but having someone that promotes the sport like this with a lot of hype behind them is rare. We need more fighters from that side of the town, of the country. We need that shit happening. And we're seeing this rise right now. We're seeing the rise of Shavkat, dude. This is the time. Dirty Bird said it the other week. He was like, dude, these Asian fighters are making a name for himself, and I think this guy is no different. I cannot wait to see what he does, man. I want him to do some dirty knockouts. His last fight, I mean, it was matchup versus matchup. He still won, couldn't finish it, but this guy's a beast, man.
He is, for sure. Yeah, I mean, UFC 300, we have Zhang Wei Li and Yan for the women's strawweight title. Both of them are Chinese fighters, I believe.
Yeah,
so we're
Chinese.
definitely starting to see, a big spike in talent and some of the top fighters coming from that part of the world, which is awesome. It seems like we always have this like ebb and flow of pockets of really, really good MMA and where fighters are coming from. Like we saw it in Mexico at one point, right? We had Grasso, we had Brandon Moreno, we had the featherweight champion, what's his name? No, but
he's from New Mexico.
What the the guy Volk beat last, beat Josh Emmett for the interim. Yair Rodriguez, exactly. Thank you. So we had some great Mexican champions at one time. Obviously, Dagestan and Russia has been a dominant staple in the UFC and in MMA in general. We see a lot of those guys in Khabib's cousin in PFL and things like that. And Australia, right? Like we have Volk, and then fighting out of that same camp and out of New Zealand, you had Izzy and speaking of Izzy, we had the African champions at one time with Kamaru Usman and Francis Ngannou and Israel Adesanya, and so it's just so interesting how things go, and it seems like all at one time we'll have a bunch of champions from one specific part of the world, which I think is awesome. Most of the time they all train together, or something like that. So I think you're right in the sense that of what to expect. And anybody that's ever watched the Summer Olympics growing up or still do, I said to you guys the other day, like it's going to end up being like how China does women's gymnastics, right? Like those they approach the world of sports in a different way than we do, really, and so that makes them incredibly talented and competitive globally. And those women and other for fighting standards, like they start extremely young, and that's just what they do. It's like a career path. Like I choose this career path when I'm fucking 2, and I'm going to be a gymnast. And then by the time they're 16, they're winning gold medals at the Summer Olympic Games. And that's just what they do, and they train. So I think that plays a big part. Like culturally, it's just different than how it is here in the United States. And I think we're going to start to see a lot of Asian-born fighters more so than we have in the past that, are top ranked or champions. Obviously, we have Wei Li, but maybe there's some others coming up that we'll see, and maybe Rinya Nakamura in the bantamweight division. He's still really young and early on in his career, but a lot of potential for him there as well.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait. I mean, there's a bunch of different organizations they could have joined back in the day, or what they could have been. Instead of the UFC, there was all these different things, and most of them were in Asia and stuff like that. So now they're like, listen, we're going to be the elite. We're going to be the cream of the cream. We're going to fucking go kill this shit, dude. And it's going to be sick to watch, man. I see a big rise in it happening. And fuck, dude. I hope this dude comes out and gets a fucking fire-ass knockout, because that's what we need.
What we want to see. For sure. All right, let's see. Main card. This is, for me, aside from the main event, and we'll dive deep into the main event. This card is stacked. It's not getting talked about enough. The fact that the second fight on the main card is Merab versus Henry Cejudo is crazy. Like that could very easily be a main event in most circumstances.
100%.
And it's the fourth or the second fight of the main card. 3 more fights after it on UFC 298. That's going to be a great one. And then, to be honest, man, I think you have Jeff Neal, Ian Gary, and Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa. I'm actually looking forward more to Jeff Neal, Ian Gary.
Hell yeah.
I just want to see if this hype train from Ian Gary can get stopped by hands of steel Jeff Neal, or does Ian Gary do what he's done to everybody else? Does he clock Jeff Neal? Does he do what he did to everybody else and go to 14-0? That's one that really interests me, and they should have fought last year, and it fell through. And that's how he ended up getting Neil Magny. So now we finally get this matchup, and I'm excited for that one.
He gets the real Neil this time. People confuse Neil Magny and Jeff Neal because of the last names. And I'm like, listen, dude, no. Jeff Neal is a way different fighter than Neil Magny.
For sure. Yeah.
100%. I'm very, very, very excited about this fight, man, especially with Ian Gary. I mean, Ian Gary, his fight he pulled out last time was due to certain things. Honestly, I don't know if that was a strategy play or if it wasn't, but I like this matchup a lot better for him. Just like we saw the main event last night with Pyfer. You're a young cat, you're going to go against somebody that's very experienced. That very experienced person may not be a better fighter than you, but maybe more experienced. That's going to win. I feel like that would have happened last time. I don't think Ian Gary would have won that. He wouldn't have done it. With this one, I think Ian Gary is going to take it. I'm super excited about it. There's a lot of hype about this guy. Everybody fucking hates him. But at the end of the day, you cannot fucking deny his striking. He is a scary striker.
Yeah.
His chin has been tested.
Yeah, he's been hit.
And yes, and I like him a lot, dude. I know there's a lot of shit about him. We like his wife even more.
Yep.
But this is the one I'm very excited about. My pick is going to be Ian Gary by TKO all day. I like the fight. I see it happening in the second
round. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I see it happening in the second. It's going to be a great fight, man. I think Ian Gary actually is the underdog, right? I mean, not the underdog. He is the favorite.
He should be. I don't have odds on it yet. They probably won't come out until later on in the week. But yeah, most of the time
he's negative 245 right now. Okay,
perfect.
Just as now, yeah. So I mean, that makes sense. So yeah, I see that, man. And I had a bold prediction with Dirty Bird a couple months back, and I'm excited about Merab versus Henry, bro.
Yeah.
I'm fucking stoked, man. I got Henry taking it. I got Henry maybe there's a way that Henry will be champ by the end of 2024.
I think if Cejudo beats Merab, and then O'Malley beats Cheeto in next month in March, I don't see how the next fight you make isn't Cejudo versus O'Malley.
It's not. Everyone wants Sandhagen, so do I.
Yeah. Sandhagen's. I mean, he's just not there yet, right? Like he needs a big win. He needs to beat one of these guys. He needs this fight and to beat one of these guys to put himself in that conversation.
What is Sandhagen ranked right now? Is he number 4? Like what the fuck? I don't get it. I'll pull it up right now. Let me see. Bantam Sandhagen is 4. See, the thing is, god damn, we all want him to do it, but Henry Cejudo is ranked higher.
Right.
Cejudo's
3, Merab's 2, Aljamain obviously is 1, but it seems like Aljamain is fighting at featherweight. He is. Yeah. He's fighting Calvin Kattar at featherweight. So, I don't know if Aljo will be there. So it's Merab. This is a clear number 1 contender fight for the winner of O'Malley Vera. Now, if Vera ends up beating O'Malley in March, there's probably a good chance that that gets rematched. I mean, I don't know. Maybe then it'd be 2-0 Cheeto. Like I don't know. That's when stuff starts getting weird. Like that's when stuff starts getting really weird. Like when you give the number 6 ranked guy in Cheeto Vera a title fight, and let's say he wins, it's like the same thing with Strickland. Like it throws a fucking wrench in everything. It throws a crazy wrench. Yeah, it is, man. So Sandhagen needs a big win. Like he needs, I know he's been hurt So that's unfortunate for him. And there's been a lot of movement in that division. And now you have some big bantamweight fights coming up this Saturday, and then UFC 299. So Sandhagen needs to get himself healthy, get a fight, and get a big win.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy and fucking stay healthy this time.
And get a big win, and that puts him back in that conversation, right? Like that puts him in the title conversation.
Over the Octagon, we're not sitting there saying that he doesn't deserve it. We know he fucking deserves it. But the thing is this, you got to fucking know that you're flight risk, number one, and that rankings are rankings, man. And we have to stick to them mostly. But the thing is, if you're able to fight and somebody else is able to fight who has a better ranking than you, there's no contest for that. It's what it has to happen. But, and I told Joel, I was like, man, I think I got Henry Cejudo champ in November or some shit like that, dude. Yeah. I mean, I can see it happening, and he's an evil fucking trolling motherfucker. Like, I love the way he talks shit to Sean O'Malley. He's like, I think you suck. It just smiles. Like, he has the worst shit talk, but he reminds me of every wrestler. Yeah, I think you suck.
Cejudo's a fucking Olympic gold medalist, dude.
He's an ankle biter, man. I love watching him fight, man.
His talent is legitimate. So this is gonna be a tough fight for him against Merab, but we'll have to see. Obviously Aljamain got the better of Henry in their matchup and he really out-wrestled him, which I don't think people expected, but Aljo was able to out-wrestle a fucking gold medalist in Henry Cejudo, and Merab is his training partner. I expect something similar here. I feel like we're going to see how good Merab is, too. Like, if Merab can come out and get a dominant win over Cejudo, then you know that fight between O'Malley and Merab can be a little nerve-wracking for O'Malley, I think.
Yeah, and I just don't respect Merab, man. It's like, oh my god, he didn't really chase Aljo because
they're friends and all
teammates.
That.
I'm like, dude, I get it. Aljo fucks you. I get it. You like it. You like getting legs written on you, dude. Fuck that, man. Now you want to bark up, and I see his social media presence. Some of them are funny.
He's hilarious.
He's hilarious. Henry lost to Aljo on one thing only, man. And I think it just fucking weight. I could be the best wrestler in the world, but if you put me against Brock Lesnar, and I'm weighing 170 right now, it doesn't matter. The guy's fucking heavier. If you put me against a fucking 280-pound middle linebacker who's just athletic, has no wrestling skills at all, but he's that much heavier and stronger than me, I'm going to have to do something crazy. It's not going to work.
Right.
There's a small chance. So,
yeah.
I see that. I love that fight, man. I think it's crazy. I think I might be more excited about that one than probably anyone besides the main event. And you are, we can jump into that because, man,
let's get into it. Let's stop pussyfooting around. We can touch on Whitaker Costa too. I'll just say this very briefly about that. This is the only thing I say. Quick. I want Whitaker to win. I want Whitaker to get back on the win column. I think he can do it. Paulo Costa fights like once every 173 years. So fuck Paulo Costa and his secret juice. Nobody gives a fuck. I want to see Robert Whitaker get back to himself. He's healthy now. I think he can do it. And that's what I'll say about that. That's a co-main. That's a great co-main with a lot of implications to it too, in a otherwise really fucking crowded top of a middleweight division. That's another one. Like, if Paulo Costa wins, fuck, man. Like, now we have another contender for a belt on top of Izzy, on top of Strickland, on top of the champ DDP. I mean, you have so many guys that are biting at that title in that division too. It gets really crowded at the top. We need Whitaker to win to maintain order, I think. Keep Paulo Costa down at 7 or whatever he's ranked, and keep the order.
But for the disruptors out there, I see in the future Paulo Costa winning, and then all of a sudden we have a crazy press conference. I don't know when or how. Paulo Costa versus Sean Strickland.
Yes.
God damn it. Give us that. I mean,
that is the content we need for sure.
That's the content we need. Is it the fight we need?
Yeah.
Oh, but hey, man, give us that. for the press conference. Like, the only reason I watch basketball is to watch Charles Barkley talk shit to Shaq at halftime.
Right.
Like, we live for those moments, you know? Like, fuck, like, we already know those games are rigged.
Right.
We need some comedy.
Yeah. All right. So now you got your main event. Let's get into it. So we got Alexander Volkanovski, the featherweight champion of the world, has been the king of the featherweight division for quite some time, against the up-and-coming prospect, 8 years younger, Ilia Topuria. Give me your predictions. Give me your thoughts. Give me what you think about it. What you want to see happen. Think's gonna happen. Talk to me.
So, man, honestly, it's great that we covered the sport so many times. Like, we it's great that we do this. We're 7 days a week over here, man. So it gives me the ability to actually go in depth, to go second depth, rechange the lyrics, rechange everything, rechange my thought process and all that shit right here.
Yeah.
I see a lot of shit that Ilya is doing, and we all know that this is going to be they're comparing him to Conor McGregor. I don't think they're anything alike.
Yeah, I don't either, really.
I don't think you have two people that are making a name for the country. Because when's the last time you heard of a great Spanish fighter? When's the last time you heard of an Irish fighter?
Right.
You haven't. So
yeah, he's actually from Jordan too. So that's him and Marab.
Jordan.
Yeah, him and Marab. That's why they're like buddies, because they're both from Jordan. So, but yeah, I think he fights out of Spain now. But I think he is Jordanese. I don't even know what the fuck you would say, but he's from Jordan. Yeah.
Spanish athletes have a lot of money behind them. If you get good, you do. I mean, Spanish soccer is fucking one of the most elite soccer in the world. You know what I'm saying?
FC Barcelona, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And so all this stuff is going to be in factor towards this. You know, he has a lot of hype around him. He is undefeated. So when you have these up and comers coming over there to fight a champ that we love, usually they're not undefeated. Right. If they are, we don't remember the name after this fight, or they just stick around. The case hasn't happened yet. The case has happened recently where it's been like, all right, we got a guy that's 18-1, 18-2, going against a champ, then loses.
Right.
You know, that's normal, but this is scary. This is 100% scary. Everyone was scared about Yair Rodriguez against Volk. This guy's striking is unreal. He's proven the test with crazy, unorthodox striking with Yair. He's put on a clinic against the best, quote-unquote, boxer in the UFC with Max Holloway.
Right.
He's the GOAT out of this division, I think. Ilya is saying he's going to out-wrestle him. I see the only person in the world holding down Volk is a heavier Islam. I think Volk is going to win by ease. Third round, Volk. I know you love Ilya. First round's testing the water. There's going to be some danger, like we saw last night against the Piper fight. You know what I'm saying? We saw some danger.
Yep.
There's going to be some adjustments that are made. Fighter IQ. I don't think there's anybody that has a higher fighting IQ than Volk.
Yep.
I don't think there's anybody that has... Everyone that was supposed to scare Volk, striking, has not scared him. Wrestling, I don't even know about Ilya's wrestling. So, it's not me being biased, because I fucking love Volk. I truly see Volk winning third round. I see it as a... God, that's so tough, man. This fight is so tough to call. I see it being a TKO or a rear naked. Actually, let's keep it on the rear naked. If not, then fucking give your man Ilya his flowers.
Yeah.
My call is going to be Volk, but I'm going to let you take it off right now. So I know you got a lot to say.
Well, I'll say this. I think the reason that this fight is even as close as it is, and as controversially close as it is because of what happened to Volk the last time he fought Islam. I think if Volk didn't get knocked out the way that he did, I don't think it would be talked about as closely as it is. I don't think people would be giving Topuria as much credit without us just watching Volk getting knocked out. However, that was on super short notice. right? He obviously wasn't in camp. Things have come out now. He was drinking every day for 3 weeks or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Was he really?
That's what he said.
Jeez.
He was drinking every day for 3 weeks leading up to the fight or something. And right, yeah. So I don't, but I think that plays a big factor into why Topuria is considered as competitive. I think if that didn't happen, I don't think there would be as many people picking Ilia Topuria to win this fight. Just because Volk has been so dominant in the featherweight division. The only time you ever saw Volk in trouble was when he moves up a weight class to go fight Islam. And even then, I mean, there's still a very, aside from the knockout loss, there's a very serious, legitimate case to be made that Volk won the first fight against Islam, right?
And people fucking forget that.
So
because they're casuals and they've watched the fucking UFC for 6 months.
I think Volk has a huge fan base, though. I think most people, even your most casual fans, know Volkanovski, love Volkanovski. Here's what I'll say about Topuria. Topuria is undefeated. Topuria has gone to the 5th round multiple times. He has had 5-round main events. So when we talk about or compare it to a fight like we saw last night with Joe Pyfer, as far as a prospect goes, it's not necessarily in the same realm. He took 5-round fights against high-ranked opponents and squashed them. Very recently, I just rewatched Ilia Topuria versus Josh Emmett. I'm very high on Topuria because when I watched that fight, I've watched that fight like 5 times. Emmett had nothing. Bro.
Destruction. He got destroyed.
And that is like that. And we can't discredit Emmett, right? Like Josh Emmett very recently, last year, was fighting Yair Rodriguez for the interim featherweight title. He lost to Yair, but he lost, this is a top guy. Like, this is not a slouch, right? This is not like, we can't sit here and say that Topuria's 14-0, but it's like Dagestan 14-0 where he's beating a bunch of slugs. It's not the case. He's already beaten the best in the world and beaten the best in the world with ease. Right? He put on a fucking clinic against Josh Emmett. Pounded his face like fucking just ground beef. His face looked crazy. And his chin got tested in that fight. Right? There's an argument to be made that Josh Emmett is arguably the hardest puncher in the 145-pound division. Topuria took those shots off the chin like it was nothing. But Josh Emmett wasn't taking the shots that Topuria was giving him the same way.
Yeah, man. So this is where we're gonna talk about it. The weight class, in my opinion, was lacking. Josh Emmett was on his way out. Josh Emmett is an old dude, man. And I felt like there was a chance that he was gonna retire. So that didn't happen. He comes back and he has a knockout that's heard from across the country.
Yeah.
I get that. But what I'm saying is, besides that, from Ilia, I don't see who you fought, though. You fought Bryce Mitchell.
Yep.
Is Bryce Mitchell even ranked? So this is the thing. I'm not knacking.
Bryce Mitchell is ranked 10th in the featherweight division.
He's 10th. Okay, cool. I'm not knocking this thing because, dude, fucking, this is the thing, man. Fucking Ilia has 4 finishes in his last 5 fights, I think. It's the guy's awesome. I think Ilia would not get any credit if Josh didn't come out and knock somebody out. If Josh didn't knock anybody out, then we would look at his resume and say, damn, he beat a 38-year-old fucking Josh Emmett and Bryce Mitchell. But when you have these records that are undefeated in what he brings to the table, he kind of looks like a young Volk.
So Joel brought this point up to me as well, just about his resume. Even if you were to take, all right, let's say Bryce Mitchell isn't a great win. Okay, that's fine. He's the 10th ranked guy in the division. but not a huge win. Josh Emmett, if he's an older fighter, not a huge win. But my point to Joel, to you now, will be like what I said to him was, you need to watch the fucking fights again, because it's not just in who he beats, it's in how he beats them. So you look at like he beat Ryan Hall, right? Ryan Hall, jiu-jitsu guy. So he
knocked him the fuck out.
He fucking murdered him, bro. He literally, I thought he was dead. He murdered him.
That was
same thing.
sick.
Jai Herbert murdered him.
Bryce,
he submitted Bryce Mitchell, who is known for his jiu-jitsu. Ilya submitted him. You know why? Because he beat the fuck out of him before he did it. Josh Emmett is tough as shit. I don't care if he's 37. He's tough as fuck. He has arguably the hardest fucking punching power in the featherweight division. He ate those shots, gave him 2 back. The combinations that Ilya throws are unlike most fighters in the UFC. We're not throwing one hook. We're not throwing one jab. If he throws 3 or 4 at a time.
Yes, and I saw that in Ian Gary, and it's this new age of striking where these guys are young and they're able to do numerous hooks and uppercuts in their combinations, man. So I'm not gonna lie, I respect Ilya's striking.
Yeah,
but I don't respect it more than Max. I think Max Holloway's is better. And
so what we're gonna see, well, and that's what we're gonna have to see, right? We're gonna have to see how it goes against Volk, and then how well rounded is he really. Right, this isn't a boxing match. This isn't a kickboxing match. Right, this is MMA. This is mixed martial arts. How does it fare against a fighter in Alexander Volkanovski that's extremely well rounded in every area? Can strike, can wrestle, can grapple. We saw Volkanovski's toughness is never in question. We saw him in one of the deepest guillotines that, a jiu-jitsu prodigy and Brian Ortega had somebody in, and he never tapped and ended up getting out of it, right? So his toughness is definitely not in question. There's no denying that this is the toughest test Ilia Topuria has ever had in his career. It's just to, can he live up to it? He's hyping himself up crazy. I do hope he's not getting overly confident. That is something that I think we saw in Joe Pyfer. I think we saw Joe Pyfer get overly confident.
Yeah. There's people that get overly confident and they don't know what to do with it. And you can tell it's their first time doing it. And that's just a huge thing in every aspect of life, right? But then we have somebody who's overly confident for a good reason, like Conor McGregor. Well, that's a good reason. Or Ilya. Well, guess what, dude? Ilya, you fucking, first off, at the beginning of your career, you subbed everybody.
Right.
People don't know about your submissions. That's not broadcast on the UFC.
Right.
They don't know how good you are at submitting people.
Right. So
and
maybe
in your career, you're finishing people.
Right.
He knows how to ride this. I think there's been a lot of hype about him, and he hasn't full on crank it. I think he's doing it right. And the thing is, if the movie gets filmed and this does happen the right way, this will be the first time that it's happened documented for the UFC.
Right.
And that's where you became a league of your own. No one's fucking done that.
Well, so, and then to say that, right? So he's 14-0 and has 8 submission victories. So then maybe we're sitting here, maybe Ilya is way more well-rounded than people are giving him credit for. Again, he submitted Bryce Mitchell. You can say anything negative you want, or anybody can say anything negative they want about Bryce Mitchell.
I like him a lot, damn it.
His jiu-jitsu is elite. So the fact that you're able to submit a guy that is a jiu-jitsu specialist speaks for your grappling a ton alone.
Oh, absolutely. That country boy Mississippi jiu-jitsu is next level.
Right. So the fact that the Alabama, I think.
Is he close
something like that? Yeah. But the fact that you're able to submit him, maybe Topuria is way more well-rounded than people are giving him credit for. What I will say is, what makes him similar to McGregor at the time? What really made McGregor like rocket It was the Jose Aldo fight, right?
Jose Aldo,
there
confidence.
There was super high hype around him before then, and actually he had won an interim belt before that because Jose Aldo got hurt in training and like broke a rib or something, and that's when I think he beat Chad Mendez. That he fought Chad Mendez and won the interim belt, and then he knocked out Jose Aldo. But that knockout of Jose Aldo, because people disrespect Jose Aldo crazy.
He's one of the best. He's the top 5 best fighters of all time.
Dude,
and I hate how people forget about that.
He gets disrespected in an unbelievable rate because of the fact he got knocked out by Conor McGregor. But
he's one of the best of all.
And he was
time.
dominant. He was dominant in the WEC. He was
dominant for like 5 years. I think he has the longest title run besides Anderson Silva. And then Demetrius Johnson. Then it's fucking those.
Yeah.
I can go on for an hour about Jose Aldo. I think he's amazing.
Jose Aldo is the most disrespected fighter or legend of the sport, in my opinion. And it's solely because of Conor McGregor and McGregor fan base. So you have a similar situation. Like, you have a dominant champion that's been dominant for a long time. The odds are stacked up against Volk or stacked up against Topuria. Like, it doesn't look good if he's able to go out and get it done. Like, what if he is that good? What if he is that fucking good? And he goes out here and he outboxes Volk. He stuffs takedowns. He does what he's done to everybody else.
I mean, if
that chin of Volk is compromised, right? You don't know how people are going to come back after a really bad knockout like he had against Islam. If that chin is slightly compromised, Topuria's power is ridiculous. And if that shot lands, he can put anybody in the fucking dirt, Volk included.
Yep, I rewatched the Emmett fight, man, and I literally saw Ilya throwing hooks that were perfectly blocked, and his hooks are going through the blocks and still hurting them.
Yeah.
So if you got a punch that's going to go through a fucking block and still fucking rattle your ears, damn, dude. He's like, I don't care if I miss, because guess what? I'm going to break your arm and your fucking jaw at the same time.
Yeah.
I love this kid's aggression. I love the way he scraps. I love how he's a finisher. There's nothing. The only time you're hearing people say something negative about him is because he's fighting Volk.
Yeah.
So if he was fighting any other champ, I think you wouldn't hear any of the shit.
I don't think people I think we've gotten away from the McGregor era in the sense that I don't think people like the way he carries himself. Like, we loved that in fighters at one time, right? That talk all this shit and da-da-da. And then it just got, like, overplayed too much. Like, you have the Colby Covingtons of the world.
Gary.
Yeah, you have, like, just this shit. It's like, it feels like people watched McGregor do it and then now are, like, just kind of cheap ripoffs.
Absolutely.
I don't really think that's what Topuria is doing. I don't really think he's trying to emulate anyone. I think it's just that's who he fucking is. Like, he's
dude. He doesn't even speak English.
Yeah, his English is getting a little better. Yeah, his English is there.
I haven't heard anything from him, so he's not trying to promote to us over here. So I mean, honestly, I cannot wait to hear what Joel's got to say, because I know what I said. I stay by it. On paper, I'm going to go with the on paper route. He's fought. Volk is beating better boxers, better fucking fighters in general. He's beating a number 7 Josh Emmett. I got to stick by that. But dude, I'm not going to lie. If I was to get fucking wrong, I'm not going to be too pissed. I'm
going to go, and I've said this for months, so I'm not going to switch up now. Even though I will say, the closer and closer we get to this fight, the more worried I am about it, right? The more worried I am about it. But I'm a fucking man. I'm a man of my word. I've said you can find anybody that's listening to this, you can find months ago. There was short clips that we posted on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram of me saying, Ilya
we got
Topuria,
insurance.
Ilie Topuria by knockout. There's receipts. Like, there's fucking receipts. Volk is the greatest featherweight of all time, arguably. If he wins this, I think he cements that legacy. But I'm going to stick by my guns. I think Topuria is a different fucking beast. I think his power is different. I don't give a fuck about Yair Rodriguez. I don't think he's in the same class. I think if you put Yair in the octagon with Ilia Topuria, I think the same thing happens to Yair that happens to Josh Emmett. I think he beats the fucking brakes off Yair Rodriguez too.
I co-sign that. I'm not about that Yair hype either.
Yeah, I don't.
Nice head kicks that are telegraphed.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, whatever. Right. So you watch Volk beat him easily.
Johnny Walker.
Watch Volk beat him easily. I don't. Whatever. So I'm going to stick by my guns. I got Topuria by knockout. I think Volk's chin is fucking compromised. I don't want to hear the fucking excuses that you were drinking every day for 3 weeks leading up to the Islam fight. If that was the case, you shouldn't have fucking taken it.
Let's go.
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to watch. I love Volk. I'm not a Volk hater. But just from what I've seen as an MMA fan for the last 2 or 3 years watching Topuria, I think the first fight I really, really watched him in was Ryan Hall, which was 3 years ago. So, I just think he's a different beast. He's a fucking savage animal. He's a fucking killer. He's already been 5 rounds, right? So, like, the cardio is there. It's not an issue. You're not going to get him tired. He has never been tired in his other 5-round bouts. He's not going to get tired in this one either. His boxing stays crisp. His takedown defense has been tested against grapplers. People have tried to take him down, have had really good timed shots on him. And he stuffs the takedown. His takedown defense is great. And like we already talked about, 14-0 with 8 submission victories, right? All this talk about his striking and his boxing, right? But he only has 4 KOs. 8 of his victories are submissions. Why are we not talking about how good his grappling is? Maybe his grappling is way better than people are giving him credit for. Maybe we go into Saturday night and Ilia Topuria is the most well-rounded fighter in the octagon that night. Right? This is the end of the Volkanovski era. It's over. It's over. Ilya's here. He's going to be champ. There's nobody in this division that's going to beat him. Max Holloway's going to go against Justin Gaethje for the BMF, and that's fine, but he's not beating him either. I love Max Holloway, but he's not beating him either. This is different power. This is different timing. This is different speed. Everything about this striking, this boxing, this takedown defense, this version of mixed martial arts that we see from Ilia Topuria is different, and it's championship level different. It's the type of different that you need to have to dethrone the king, Alexander Volkanovski. So my prediction, what we're going to see Saturday night, is the same thing I've been saying for months. I'm going to stick by my guns, Topuria by knockout. And I'm going to go... Yeah, I'll take the third. I'll take a third round, maybe second.
Whatever's gonna happen, it's gonna happen in the second or third.
Yeah,
we can agree on that.
The only thing is maybe the first.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh.
I mean that's what happened with Islam, right?
So with the chin, you gotta watch. If
he catches that opening, and if he catches that opening in the first round, I wouldn't be surprised about that either. If he sees that opening for a right hook in that first round and he fucking lands it, I wouldn't be surprised by that one either. But either way, man, I no hate towards Volk. I think this is the passing of the torch. I think we're about to witness the passing of the torch. I think 2024 there's going to be a lot of belts changing hands. I don't think you have a lot of dominant champions around anymore. And I think you're going to see a lot of passing of the torches between belts, and definitely one of them.
Over the Octagon, you have your opinions here. And guess what? The best thing about us is we're never going to vote the same, probably. So right now, which is a smart call, we have fucking Ilia taking the torch. This is going to be his time now. You know, Murky's saying that. You got me saying Volk's gonna make it look easier than people expect. You don't know, but I definitely do know one thing. One of us are fucking right.
Yeah.
All right. There's no middle. And honestly, I can say that there's gonna be no middle. It's gonna be in the second or third. And we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But fuck,
Yeah, we're definitely not going to see a boring fight. That's for sure.
Fuck no, dude. Honestly, you guys, I think everyone knows that. And the thing is, Volk, if he's being as emotional as he has been, it's not going to be a boring fight. That means either you get your chin stuck out or you hit a chin, and that's what it is at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
But Murky, let's fucking go, baby. Good fucking shit, dog.
Let's go. But yeah, that's Saturday night. And then I think this will come out first thing Monday morning. So when you guys are fucking in your cars after the Super Bowl, hungover, you're driving to work Monday morning, this will be out anywhere: YouTube, Amazon, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Pornhub.
Pornhub.
Anywhere you listen to it, it's going to be any platform. It's going to be on there. And we're probably going to come out with another part of this later on this week, I'm sure, because Joel definitely needs to get his 2 cents in on this main event as well, and has a lot to say. So we'll be putting out some more content later on this week that involves him as well. This is the first episode out of 55 fucking episodes that he hasn't been on. So shout out to him, Mr. Consistent. They call him the Cal Ripken of MMA podcasts.
Yeah, the Janet Jameson of blowjobs.
But yeah, it's been a fun one. Let's keep it hot, baby. I'm excited for Saturday night.
One of us is right. I'm excited as well, brother.
All right, on to the next one. We'll catch you all later. As always, subscribe to the YouTube, like the video, comment, share the shit with
Yeah, or Janet Jameson.
you. Yeah, peace out.